I think when I was a fetus.
Conversation go. So what is your current coming out story, and how did the experience or conversation go?
I'm sure Kiki is ready.
Actually, I am ready. Funny thing is, my sister was the person who actually outed me. A good friend of mine that I grew up with that actually lived next door. My sister thought that he was gay, or just knew that he was gay because he was a little bit older. She had never seen him with a girl. We used to hang out all the time and go to different clubs and stuff like that. And so she ended up telling my mother that she thought that I was gay as well. And so my mother asked me one day, and I was like, well, shit, if you bold enough to ask me, I'm bold enough to tell you. And so she asked me, and I told her yes, that I was. And so she started crying. She didn't cry because I said that I was gay. She was crying that she told me because she never wanted someone to mistreat me because of that. And so she was always just worried or fearful that something would occur to me because I was gay. But ever since then, it's never been a problem. I've always tried to be my authentic self, but I also feel that it's on a need-to-know basis.
They know. They knew. Okay, what's next?
Your gay ass.
Me?
Calvina, your turn.
Why are y'all trying to... The girls
Or
hate
Crystal, as you call after 10
me.
p.m.
The girls hate me.
Tell me when you first started wearing nail polish too, Anthony.
I was in the closet then. Yeah, no, I'm sorry.
Me and did not wear nail polish.
I was punk then. I was into goth and no. I think was this. I don't remember if this was. I think this may have been how I was outed. So my boyfriend at the time, the football guy, spent the night at the house. And we were sleeping in the front room on the floor. Like we made a pallet or whatever. Pillows, blankets and stuff. And so yeah, we made a pallet with pillows and blankets, and we were sleeping in the front. Middle of the night, I got a little touchy-feely with him, and we were kind of making out. And I think a time or two, my head went below the blankets.
You think?
I cannot remember. I would deny it, so I can't. I don't recall. I didn't inhale. So in the midst of all that, I think my mother came into the living room, and she exploded. My father came out. He exploded. He grabbed his gun. This is the middle of the night. He's ready to kill a motherfucker. Yeah, it just became this big ass scene. And the boyfriend at the time, he left, and I was there explaining what happened to my parents. And I think that's how I officially came out. So through my negligence and horniness as a young teen, I was caught, and that's how I've been out.
So my coming out story was, I was actually talking to a guy. It was a catfish story. So talking to a guy who he met me at a club, or at least saw me at a club, gave my number to my friend right after I walked out. So the friend comes, brings me the number, says, this dude in there just told me to give you his number, he's fine, da-da-da, this and that. So
the friend was male or female?
Male.
Okay.
So he gave me the number. He then, he's describing this guy, and I'm like, well, where is he? So he's like, I can't even remember all the details. I was 19 years old. So long story short, I end up talking to the guy. Talked to the guy for months, like I want to say about 3 months. And all the while, you know, I'm like, when are we gonna meet? He got kids. He lived in Tinley Park. I lived on the west side at the time. And he just always had some excuse. Like, something happened, we're supposed to meet, something else happened. So long story short, I finally realized that, because I gave an ultimatum, like, you gotta come on this date by this time or it's done. I ended up, supposedly when he was supposed to come, he says he got in a car accident or something stupid. But he said, I left a teddy bear for you in your backyard. And so I go in the backyard and there was a teddy bear there. But when I pick up the teddy bear, I can tell it's not brand new. And I smelled the teddy bear and it smelled like my friend's mom's house. Clearly. And so I call him and I just start going off. And long story short, I was really upset about it, you know, just like depressed and all of that, because I had wasted so much time, but then the betrayal of it all, and this was before catfish was even a word. And so I ended up going to my mom, and well, she could tell like I was real sad and distraught and all that. So I ended up coming out to her and telling her the story, and she was like, what are you saying? Like, you into guys? And I was like,
no, man. No.
So at the time, I thought I was bisexual.
So he's like, I'm bisexual.
So I said, I kind of like guys, but you know, I still like girls, blah, blah, blah. So my mom is like, well, ain't nothing wrong. She was like, everybody has those kind of feelings, but you don't have to act on them. So that was eye-opening, because I'm like, what are you saying about yourself? So long story short, she's like crying, praying for me. You know, she's like, they just gonna take you and use you up, and you know, all that kind of stuff. So she prayed for me, and then after all of that, she then forbade me to have any gay people in the house.
Can I redirect you for a quick second?
Mm-hmm.
So the person you was talking to all the time, the teddy bear that smelled like the friend's house, that was your friend.
Right. Yep, the whole fucking time.
And
fake voice and all.
Okay, so did you ever have a conversation with him after that?
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
So, come to find out,
and this story is longer than mine. So
I know,
don't cut
but
me off again.
I know.
Next time. Never cut me off again. Never cut me off again.
I've been keeping to my 2 minutes.
But okay, because
yeah, it's so. Come to find out, my friend at the time was the guy, and so he had a fake voice. He always was really good with doing voices, so he had a fake voice, and for all that time, he was like encouraging me to stick with the guy and all of this stuff, but all the while it was him. So when I had the conversation with him about, well, why the fuck would you do that, this and that, he said that he was in love with me and did not want me to be with anyone else, because we dated for like a 2 week. We could be friends, but that's it.
You dated for 2 weeks before this?
He and my friend and I, right? We dated
before that phone incident.
No, we dated 2 weeks in the very beginning when we first met, and then we were friends like a good year and a half, whatever, before that happened.
Okay.
So yeah, it was him all the time, and it was his way of keeping me from dating other people, because I would then be occupied by this imaginary person. And it worked for the couple months he did it. So
So give me some volume.
Yeah, volume.
I confirmed with my parents maybe just a few years ago.
There's suspicion.
After the incident that happened at the Pulse nightclub in Orlando, Florida, it just kind of got me to thinking, I don't want them to find out based off something something bad might happen, something like that. Like, you heard stories about some of the people that were in the club that weren't out, and then that was the first that their families had ever heard that they were in the LGBT community, being killed in the club by some crazy person. So that got me to thinking. I worked up the nerve. They came over to my house one weekend. We went grocery shopping. After we went shopping, we just sat in the house, just talked a little bit, and then I just told them that I wanted to talk to them about something, and that I just basically told them that I'm gay. For the most part, they were quiet.
Finally.
Well, basically, yeah.
Did your mom slide your father? Did your mom slide your father $5? I told you.
I mean, both of them pretty much said that they had figured. My dad was kind of quiet, but my mother seems like we pretty much knew. She asked if I was dating somebody, I had somebody for them to meet.
She get right to it.
Right.
Where's my son-in-law?
Shit, I want some baby.
Well, she did say that too, that I could still adopt if I wanted to have kids.
I love that. Okay.
So,
Mom was like, I already processed this shit. So
Right.
Yeah.
we really haven't talked about it much since then, so I don't know how it's going to be. It's still a process, so I don't know how it's going to be when I actually do start dating somebody and start bringing somebody around. So we'll see how that goes, but yeah, that was pretty much it.
The next question is, what's your advice to someone who has realized that they are gay but have not come out yet? So like the younger generation, it could be somebody in our age group who never came out. What would be your advice to them?
So I would say, and it's probably easy for me to say this though, but have the conversation. You don't know what the reaction of your family is until you have the conversation. And you can't control anyone's reaction. You can just control how you react. So I think for your safety and for those who are close to you, whether it's your parents, your siblings, I think you should have their conversation just so that you can be open and transparent. And like Gil had mentioned about something happening and that being the first time that they find out that their child, either female or male, it's gay. So I think that if you can have the conversation with your family or people that are important to you early on, the earlier the better.
I think for me, I would say, and it took me a while to learn this, but there's no wrong or right way or one way to be gay. Like, I think you define that for yourself, what that looks like. Some people want to be out, loud and proud, and others just want to live their life and be private, just like you would be. There are straight people who are private and they don't really talk about everyone they date or the sex they have with people or things like that.
It's not the same though.
I think again, it's defined based on what you are comfortable with and what your life is. And I think over time you will figure out what that is for you. It's about living your truth and living a life that is satisfying to you. So that looks different for everybody.
And actually, that was what I would say too, is to be your authentic self. Nothing is more freeing and reassuring than you showing up who you authentically are and let people love you or dislike you for their own reasons, because not everyone is going to like you, not everyone's going to love you, but always be your authentic self, because at the end of the day, as long as you can look in the mirror and like the person that you see looking back at you, nothing else matters.
That's it.
And I also feel like it's about maturing into it as well. Like the way that I was 10, 15 years ago when it comes to my sexuality, it's totally different than it is now. But it took me time to evolve, and it took a lot of experience.
I get it.
Had someone defined what it should be for me back then and say, you gotta come out now, and
You gotta put me on.
you gotta be out everywhere you are. I don't think I would have been emotionally secure or strong enough to do that back then. So that's why I think it's everyone's individual journey.
I pretty much would say everything that you all said. Just work on getting comfortable with yourself, knowing yourself, and then if you feel the need to come out and do so whenever you feel you're ready to do so. If something you think the backlash is going to be negative, make sure you you have the mindset, you're strong enough to possibly be able to handle that, you can, then go ahead and do so. But otherwise, don't do it unless you know for sure that you're ready.
To add on to that, I would say support system. Make sure that you have a strong support system around you, because regardless of, family, you can't pick family, but you get to select and choose your friends. And the reason why you choose certain friends is because it's something that you admire in them, or qualities that they have. So I would just say also make sure that you have a strong support system, because you may not get that love and support from your family, but having a strong support system around you to hold you up helps you get through the days when it's not the easiest or not the best to go through something.
You ain't gotta be so
Well,
long.
I can't help
You
it
ain't
that
gotta
I'm
be
that
so
bitch.
long-winded.
I'm that girl.
What happens
She
is
trying to have a
that-
Iyala
to
moment
that-
every answer.
to that 15-minute dialogue, only 30 seconds of it actually makes
Right.
sense.
No, you
So
like,
all
don't you
all
cut
all
don't cut
all
my
Bitch, all we gonna
That's
see
why
is-
I'm EP in this
all we gonna see
bitch.
is no, never.
No.
Once they're free, once
They
I
gonna be
consider
like,
my friend,
I am EP.
They don't leave that category.
I am not approving any of this footage
after-
if any of my responses are short and the cut. I am the Beyonce of this motherfucking group, bitch.
Oh, you see it?
Videos and people watching it gonna be like, oh, that Kiki person, she doesn't speak up a lot. She's real. I mean, Jill is the talker of the group.
Oh, bitch, no.
He is very
No,
quiet.
that means you gotta do a lot of voiceover and editing, bitch.